Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Major General Mark Wetherington, the Commander, 8th Air Force and Joint Global Strike Command, Operations Center, welcome to today's Change of Command ceremony in which command of the 5th Bomb Wing will pass from Col Brad Cochran to Col Michael Walters. I am Senior Master Sergeant Joseph Miles, and I will be your narrator. For today's ceremony, we have a unique format, but one that is required as our nation continues to fight the COVID-19 virus by maintaining social distancing. Though the situation presents small challenges, the traditions and formality of a change of command ceremony will still be on display, conducted with great dignity and broadcast on live social media. For those in attendance throughout the ceremony, you will be given cues to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, today's ceremony will be conducted as an outdoor event. Therefore, all military personnel should remain covered and render a salute during the playing of ruffles and flourishes and the playing of the national anthem. During the national anthem, our civilian guests are invited to place their right hand over their heart. We request that all electronic devices be turned off for the duration of the ceremony. At this time, I would like to recognize our distinguished guests. Special guests of Colonel Cochran include his spouse, Keva, joining virtually their children, Katie and Braden, and their children in attendance, Bryce, Blake, and Kelly. Special guests of Colonel Walters include his spouse, Carrie, and their children, Kate and Addison. We are also honored to have in attendance the Honorable Sean Sitma, Mayor of Minot and Honorary Commander, and his spouse, Carrie. Civilian Advisor to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force and the Air Force Global Strike Commander, Mr. Mark Janser, and his spouse, Mary Jane. Joining virtually, Commander, 91st Missile Wing, Colonel Glenn Harris, and in attendance, his spouse, Donna. Vice Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Colonel Brian Vaughn, and his spouse, Meg. Vice Commander, 91st Missile Wing, Colonel Barry Little. Command Chief, 8th Air Force, and Senior Enlisted Leader for Joint Global Strike Operations Center, Chief Master Sergeant Melvina Smith. Spouse to the Command Chief, 5th Bomb Wing, Mr. Scott McElroy. Joining virtually, Command Chief, 91st Missile Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Garrett Langston, and his spouse, Serena. In addition, we extend a special welcome to all active duty and retired general officers, civic leaders, commanders, directors, chiefs, and members of Team Minot for being here to share in this special occasion. We would also like to welcome the family members, friends, airmen, and community partners joining us live online. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of ruffles and flourishes, and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and the invocation. Present the colors. Chaplain Boyle, please come forward to deliver the invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly God, we thank you for this beautiful North Dakota summer day. We also thank you for the freedom we enjoy in the United States of America. And while this day is a gift from you, our freedom is guaranteed by the hard work of thousands of warbirds working tirelessly under Colonel Cochran's command. Your grace has inspired Colonel Cochrane to faithfully lead the warbirds through challenging exercises and inspections, freezing cold weather, and dangerous combat missions around the world, all the while ensuring that the lethality of 2 legs of our nation's nuclear triad deterred our enemies and protected the very freedom we celebrate and cherish. As the Cochrane family transitions to their new assignment in our nation's capital, we ask you to bless Colonel Cochrane, his loving wife Keva, and their children here and at home, Katie, Braden, Bryce, Blake, and Kelly. Thank you, Lord, for giving us such an inspiring, compassionate, and capable leader to command us for the last 2 years. Lord, we also ask you to bless Colonel Walters as he takes command of the warbirds today at Minot Air Force Base. Grant him the wisdom, courage, and strength that he needs to lead our nation's premier bomb wing as guardians of the upper realms. Guided by you, O Lord, and always strengthened by his loving wife, Carrie, and beautiful daughters, Kate and Addison, we humbly ask that Colonel Walters faithfully and fearlessly lead the 5th Bomb Wing in the honorable pursuit of your peace. We ask all of this in your most holy name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Boyle. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 8th Air Force and Joint Global Strike Operations Center, Major General Mark Wetherington.
Thank you, thanks. And good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. And a special thanks, a special welcome for anybody who might be viewing out there, viewing this ceremony. 71 years to the day that the 5th Strategic Reconnaissance Wing was activated, the forerunner of this great organization. And while this may look and feel a little bit different than we are accustomed to, this ceremony remains the familiar and fitting transition from one remarkable leader and his Air Force family to another. Now, before I get started, I want to give a special shout out to some folks in the audience. Mayor, glad you could join us today. Great partnership always with the community, and I think one that is even stronger in a small, tight-knit community like this in this area. So glad to have you and appreciate you attending. I know we got Mark and Mary Janser out there as well. I haven't had a chance to say hello yet, but community support again. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I know Glenn couldn't make it, but great to have Donna here from the 91st, and I know we also have Barry as well. Okay, perfect. I'm trying to scout the audience to figure out where everybody's at, but you know, it's a remarkable partnership up here between the 5th and the 91st, and it doesn't work unless both sides come together and talk and collaborate. And I know you guys have done a phenomenal job working together these last couple of years, and I look forward to that continuing under the new leadership here today. And I'm going to give one quick shout out to some other former friends of mine. Well, I shouldn't say former, still friends, but former weapons officer of mine, the Vlons, Brian and Meg. Great to see you guys as well. Another familiar face up here. To everybody in the audience, thanks for coming. Now, online or watching streaming or whatever they're doing at home right now, or at work, I know there's a whole group of folks. I'm going to hit family later when I talk about each one of these fine officers. But I know we may have a few general officers out there, whether it's General Ray, Van Herk, Bussier, Basham. He may be asleep by now over in Germany. I don't know. But all those guys have very busy day jobs as well. So hopefully they'll catch a glimpse of it and recognize their tie to both of these fine officers and the importance of this change of command today. But I want to give a special shout out to one in particular, my former NAF commander when I was a wing commander. You may have heard of him, General Robin Rand, formerly the Global Strike Commander, the 12th Air Force Commander when I was at Ellsworth. And I know he's watching. Great, sir, to have you and Miss Kim watching today, and appreciate your support for this Air Force team. To the rest, commanders, directors, chiefs, family, friends, community patriots, members of Team Minot, welcome and thank you for all you do to strengthen this community and defend our great nation. I am truly honored to be among you today, and what a glorious day it is. Now, it's probably not lost on many of you, but this is kind of a big deal. We have thousands of colonels in our Air Force, and less than 20% of those, 1 in 5 that are commissioned, 1 in 5 officers that are commissioned, make it to the rank of 06. And only a small fraction of them get the opportunity to command a group or an 06 squadron or a field activity. Even fewer command a wing. Less than 150 wing commanders in our total force. And each one is charged with leading a team of teams with peer commanders at the group level, diverse missions and operations, a wide range of responsibilities from day-to-day administrative tasks, military justice, care for families, care and feeding of the force, sustaining weapon systems, leading policy implementation and operations, and much, much more. In many ways, it's an impossible job, one that relies more on vision, communication, relationships, and shaping outcomes rather than simple directing and demanding. It's a job that brings with it the highest of highs and, unfortunately, sometimes the lowest of lows. Command of the 5th Bomb Wing is not for the faint of heart. This is a beast of a job, and I'm certain every one of you out there could list a few reasons why it just might be among the toughest places an airman can be assigned or an airman can command. Leading this wing takes talent, it takes persistence, it takes guts, and without a doubt, humility. It takes a special leader. And for the last 2 years, Col Brad Cochran has been that leader. So this afternoon, I'm not going to talk to you about all the possible challenges. No, I just want to stand back and marvel at some of the things this remarkable team of teams has accomplished these last 2 years. 7 flag exercises, 3 no-notice generations, a dual wing no-notice generation with your partners down in the 2nd Bomb Wing, multiple COCOM exercises, the transition from the longest continuous bomber presence tasking right into several successful bomber task forces. You demonstrated the ability to set up a forward operating location at Moses Lake, Washington. You had the best nuclear surety inspection in the command's history, among a host of other top marks in the most inspected wing in our Air Force. Over the past 2 years, you've flown over 1,800 local sorties, and you've flown out of Guam and Fairford and Al Udeid. You've forged new relationships with partners in Indonesia and India and Morocco. You dropped more than 1,100 weapons in combat operations. And then an unfamiliar adversary entered the picture when this wing saw the earliest indications of coronavirus and acted and innovated to sustain the mission. And this entire time, you remain the bedrock of strategic deterrence for the nation, providing the foundation that all our instruments of power and tools of statecraft depend on to achieve our national objectives. Maybe there really is something to this idea that only the best come north. Upon taking command during World War II, the first commander of 8th Air Force, General Ira Aker, told the British press, "We won't do much talking until we've done more fighting." Well, you guys have clearly been punching above your weight class these last few years. Tonka, you have done incredible work for this wing and 8th Air Force. You have pushed this team to excel no matter the obstacles in the path, quietly preferring your actions to speak louder than your words. And this morning, I am honored to present you with an Acre Cup, a replica of the sterling silver cup General Acre and his closest wartime advisors shared when they bore the mantle of leadership and forged the mighty 8th Air Force. I hope it will always symbolize for you the kinship you have with the fine airmen of this wing, with your fellow commanders, and with the mighty 8th. And your success has not been an individual effort. You've had an incredible partner at your time, the entire side. Keva, thank you for the sacrifices. Oh, there we go. For the patience, the love, and support that always ran in the background during Brad's career and especially during this tour. I know we got Katie and Braden, who I hope are watching. They're supposed to be watching right now. But we also got Bryce, Blake, and Kelly with us here today. Now that's a heck of a crew. You guys didn't get to choose this way of life, but you've been absolutely instrumental as well. Thanks for your strength, for the love and support your dad needed to tackle this enormous responsibility. And Bill and Shirley, if they're watching in Utah, thanks for setting that strong foundation that made this day possible. And while it's tough to say thank you and goodbye to a team that has devoted so much these last 2 years, I am excited to welcome Col Michael Chewy Walters and his team back to the mighty 8th family. Carrie, Kate, and Addison, welcome to North Dakota after, 7 weeks of quarantine, escaping a foreign nation, a lot of intrigue, I'm sure, in that. It is so great to have you. Thanks so much for your sacrifices and support on this incredible Air Force journey so far. And to Cindy in Lake Jackson, Texas, I hope Mom's watching. Thanks for setting the foundation for Chewy. I know you didn't know him as Chewy back then, but it's a fitting call sign. We're so glad you're letting him come here to join our family and lead this mighty wing. Now, some of you in the audience or on the feed might be wondering if this guy really has what it takes to tackle this challenge. And I can assure you he does. You can look at Chewy's bio in the program and see his early flying time in B-52s at some other base in the South, I think. You can see how he honed his skills and went on to serve as a weapons officer and instructor in the B-2. He's commanded the B-2 Weapons School and was the operations group commander at the busiest combat wing in our Air Force at Al-Udeid. And then along the way, he's gone to several prestigious schools and excelled on the Joint Staff and in the Joint Special Operations Command. But what his bio won't tell you is the depth of his character, his decisiveness, his persistence, and his courage. The Air Force and this nation count on the men and women of the 5th Bomb Wing to underwrite their freedom and security 24/7, 365. Fact. And this is a world-class leadership team to match that fact. Chewy, you're going to make some mistakes along the way. You're going to struggle to get your arms around this beast of a wing. You're going to face pressure and challenges that you never anticipated. Embrace it. Trust your instincts. Trust your people. Don't do a lot of talking. Just keep fighting. And you will make a tremendous difference for your airmen and their families and for the nation. I look forward to serving with you and seeing what more this team can achieve. Finally, to the men and women of the incredible 5th Bomb Wing and your partners in the 91st, I salute you. Thanks for rolling up your sleeves and just getting it done every day. Only the best come north. Thank you.
Thank you, General Wetherington. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Legion of Merit to Colonel Cochran. Due to current social distancing procedures, his medal is on display on the table. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit to Bradley L. Cochran. Colonel Bradley L. Cochran distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, 31 May 2018 to 16 July 2020. During this period, Colonel Cochran's impassioned leadership and devotion to duty guided the warfighting capability, airman resiliency, and mission success of the 5th Bomb Wing. Colonel Cochran led the only installation in the Department of Defense that houses two components of the United States nuclear triad, including a $2.6 billion nuclear stockpile, a $130 million flying hour program, and the department's largest personnel reliability assurance program, supporting 27 B-52s, 8 UH-1Ns, and 150 intercontinental ballistic missiles. He oversaw 532 distinguished visitors to include the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Air Force, United States Senators, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, 107 general officers, and members of the Japanese Joint Chiefs of Staff were hosted an extended deterrence dialogue, bolstering bilateral security and defense cooperation. Additionally, Colonel Cochran drove 3 state laws for approval through the state legislature, enabling telemedicine advancements, cross-state spouse licensure expansion, and state tax exemption status for military retirees. Furthermore, he led the wing through 82 inspections, 33 exercises, and the first ever austere bomber task force, benchmarking the concept of operations across Air Force Global Strike. Moreover, he managed deployments for 2,217 airmen, sending 20 B-52s across 6 combatant commands, and oversaw the busiest and longest continuous bomber presence redeployment in history. Notably, Colonel Cochran's keen direction was pivotal to the base's rapid response to the coronavirus disease's 2019 pandemic, sustaining fully mission-capable operations and an uninterrupted supply chain, and healthy airmen. Finally, his leadership during the 2019 nuclear surety inspection resulted in recognition of 116 airmen for outstanding performance, leading to the best nuclear surety inspection in command history. Under his venerable leadership, the wing secured 3 Department of Defense, 6 Headquarters Air Force, and 108 major command awards, including the Best Commanders Inspection Program in the Air Force. The superior initiative, outstanding leadership, and personal endeavor displayed by Colonel Cochran reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Col Brad Cochran.
What a day. What a day. And what a venue. I know on Zoom you can't see it, but there is a mighty B-52 right behind the camera, just ready to pounce, ready to fight, as we all are, ready to strike as warbirds. What a fantastic, fantastic venue. I want to start by thanking everyone for being here. I know that everyone here is tremendously busy, and I appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to come and be a part of this ceremony, whether that's participating in person or via Zoom, to watch this warbird change of command. Mayor Sitma, thanks for being here. Chief Smith, Mark, Mary, Colonel Blon, Meg, let's see, Donna, I know Glenn is watching via Zoom, Colonel Little, Scotty, Paul. I know that there's lots of others out there, squadron commanders, group commanders, superintendents, a lot of folks out there. Thank you for being here. To the men and women of the 5th Bomb Wing who are watching via Zoom, thank you for being part of the ceremony. For those especially watching via Zoom, I know my mother and father are, well, they might be out there if they figured out the how to work Zoom. My daughter, Katie, and Braden, they should be watching, General. You're exactly right. Sometimes my orders are followed more outside of home than they are in home, but they should be there. I know that there's several general officers out there that have mentored me and prepared me for this command. I'm not sure if all of them were able to make it, but General Rand, General Ray, General Van Herk, General Bussier, General Basham, General Dawkins, General Boswell, General Edwards, General Armagost, and of course, I can't forget my in-laws, my brothers and sisters, my dear friends that are watching via Zoom. Thank you all. Thank you all for your confidence, for your trust, for your love, and your support of me and my family over these past 2 years. General Wetherington, sir, thank you for your leadership and those kind words. It's truly undeserving. I'm truly humbled with the opportunity I've had to be Warbird number 55, to lead the mighty 5th Bomb Wing here at the most strategic base on the planet. The accomplishments, General, that you mentioned are not mine, but are those of the Warbird Airmen that made it happen. They are truly impressive achievements, and I stand in awe of what the airmen of this wing have accomplished and continue to achieve every single day in the worthy cause to defend this nation, to be our nation's shield, and to carry the weight of our nation's nuclear power. It has been impressive, extremely impressive for me to stand with them and be a part of this elite team. To my wife, Keva, and my children, Katie, Braden, Bryce, Blake, and little Kelly, thank you for your loving support and for the enormous sacrifices you have made, which have allowed me to continue serving in this Air Force. Oftentimes, as members of the military, we are thanked by people around town for our service to this nation. They say to us, thanks for your service, because they see us in uniform. Yet our family members who sacrifice just as much as our nation and are oftentimes not thanked simply because they aren't wearing a uniform. Our families move at the drop of a hat. They take tests early to change schools. They say goodbye to close friends. And every time we move, they start all over, developing friendships, a new home, new community, new school, new church. They do this because, as Pace puts it, they love the Air Force and they love our country just as much as we do. So to my family, thank you. Thank you for your love and support to me, to this base, and to all of our families out there. Thank you for everything you do to support our airmen and for everything you sacrifice for our country. Colonel Walters, Chewie, my friend, Carrie, I am so excited for you. This is a special place. It is home of the Global Striker. It is the only base in the command that does every Air Force Global Strike Command mission set. From conventional to strategic weapons, to bombers, to ICBMs, to helicopters, to nuclear command and control, here at Minot, we do it all. Kev and I wish you the best of luck and great success in your time here. I know you are ready, I know you will excel, and you are absolutely the right choice to lead the Warbirds into the future. Congratulations. Finally, to the elite Warbirds. Today is a chance to celebrate the tremendous contributions, sacrifices, and accomplishments you and the men and women of this wing and those that came before you have achieved. It is an opportunity for you to pause and take pride in your membership in a unit that has fought and stood ready to fight in every decade since World War II, and has done so with incredible discipline, bravery, and skill. From Pearl Harbor, to the Battle of Midway, to Wake Island, to the numerous silent conflicts during the Cold War, to the Vietnam War, to Operation Arclight, Linebacker 2, Operation Desert Fox, Operation Allied Force, Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, Inherent Resolve, most recently, deterring our allies in the Pacific, strengthening our allies in the Pacific, European, and African theaters. You have maintained our nation's and many other nations' freedom. To the men and women of this wing, thank you. You should be extremely proud of your heritage and your predecessors' bravery, skill, and accomplishments. But you should be just as proud of your part of the Warbird legacy, of this history, the legacy you have created and continue to carry forward every single day. When I took command, I said on this very stage, we are now tasked to carry on the legacy of the 5th Bomb Wing Warbirds, to uphold it and to train with tenacity so we are ready to defend our nation when called upon. As General Weatherington just described, you have excelled at just that. By all accounts, the Warbirds continue to make history and carry on a legacy of excellence. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to stand with you and be part of that legacy. It has been my honor to be counted a Warbird.
Thank you, Colonel Cochran. A change of command ceremony is a military tradition deeply rooted in history. Dating back to July 3rd, 1775, when General George Washington drew his sword under an elm tree in Cambridge, Massachusetts, to assume the command of the Continental Army. During the American Revolution, military units carried distinctive flags designed to match the color of their uniforms and emblazoned with their unit motto. When soldiers followed their leaders into battle, this flag, referred to as the unit colors, provided a highly visible point around which members of the unit could rally. Because of its importance, the colors were used in the earliest change of command ceremonies to symbolize the commander's authority, and that tradition continues today. Chief Master Sergeant Aaron McElroy, Command Chief, 5th Bomb Wing, is the flag bearer for today's ceremony. The passing of the 5th Bomb Wing organizational flag symbolizes the responsibility, authority, and accountability from Col Brad Cochran to Col Michael Walters. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the 5th Bomb Wing change of command.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. From Headquarters, 8th Air Force, Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana, Special Order Number G20020, by direction of the Commander, Colonel Bradley L. Cochran will relinquish command to Colonel Michael O. Walters, Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, effective 16 July 2020. Signed, Major General Mark Weatherington. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Colonel Michael Walters.
Thanks, Senior Miles. Appreciate it. Wow, how awesome is this? A beautiful North Dakota afternoon. A little overwhelming. General, welcome. Some of this will be a little repetitive, but I think the welcomes and the thanks are worth being duplicitous, just because that's how important it is. Chief Smith, great to have you. General, great to have you as well. Mayor Sitma, thank you, sir. Thanks for coming. I know how busy you are. Mark, Barry, likewise, thank you for coming. Appreciate you representing Global Strike's best civic leaders today. I look forward to working with you and the rest of the civic leaders. Colonel Harris, I know you're dialing in. Donna, thank you. Carrie and I look forward to working with you and your successors, not only the mission partnership, but the fellowship with you and the Rough Riders. Colonel Vaughn, Mulch, Meg, excited to work with you guys. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. Colonel Little, welcome, my friend. Appreciate it. Scotty, so glad you could make it. Special welcome to General Rand and Kim, General Bussier and Barb, General Van Herk and Marilyn, General Armagost, thank you for dialing in. We miss you, and thank you for joining us. Family and friends, Mom, Dad, Daniel, and Carrie, thank you for joining today. I want to give some thanks to the team right now that put this together today, the ceremony. With the constraints of COVID, only makes it that much more challenging, but I can't begin to say how outstanding a job you guys did. Thank you. It's no surprise to me that the 5th Bomb Wing protocol is the benchmark in global strike for this year, being the protocol for the year for global strike. So thank you very much. Chaplain, thank you for the invocation. We feel very blessed by your words. And let me point out the honor guard. Where are they? Honor guard on the back. Let me tell you what, that's what right looks like. Proud of you for setting the standard. Right on, folks. I couldn't be prouder. Maintenance, let me say, for the folks that are dialing in, you can't see it, but like Tonka said, that fine bird in the back, the pride you have in your work in this fleet shows. Thank you for bringing it out today, and I couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be prouder of you and the work that you put in that fine aircraft. I'm sure I've missed so many today, and expressing my gratitude for that. My most sincere apologies, but I'm sure we'll be able to thank you more in the future. General Ray, General Weatherington, thank you for the special trust and faith that you've placed in me and the Walters team to lead the Warbirds. We've never been more humbled and more honored. Thank you, sir. Please indulge me just quickly while I publicly thank my family, Carrie, Kate, and Addison. You, like all Air Force families, have supported and sacrificed, cheered and inspired for so long. Your dedication and sacrifice truly humbles me. I wouldn't be half the person or leader I am if not for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love you. My mentors and coaches, teachers, I'll never be able to repay the debt of gratitude that I owe you. You taught me what right looks like and to be accountable. I won't let you down, and I will represent. To our new Minot family, 5th Bomb Wing, 91st Missile Wing, the Minot community, wow. Overwhelming. Thank you for the warm greeting, the open arms, and for welcoming us into the family. We feel so blessed to be here right now, right here with you. Couldn't be more honored and more humbled by that. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Tonka, Keva, thank you. Katie, Braden, Bryce, Blake, and Kelly. What the Warbirds have accomplished under your leadership these last 2 years is awe-inspiring. And it's to all of y'all and your leadership. It's a team sport. The list of accomplishments that General Weatherington was reading off is phenomenal and proves only the best come north. I appreciate you handing over a mission-ready force, a full-up round. It's big shoes to fill. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Thank you. To the Warbirds, I'm truly honored to take the lead. Humbled by your accomplishments, your sacrifice, dedication, day in and day out, that you and your families demonstrate. Safeguarding our nation, reassuring our allies, striking fear and respect in our potential adversaries, assuring anyone that would do us harm, we are ready anytime, anywhere, that we are on the clock 24/7. We set the bar for excellence at Minot Air Force Base in the 5th Bomb Wing. Make no mistake, Minot is special. Like Colonel Cochran said, this place is special. There's no place on earth like this for many reasons. Home of the global striker. You nailed it, brother. Home of the global striker, no doubt. Two legs of the nuclear triad, arm in arm with the Rough Riders. Our brothers and sisters. Community support known Air Force wide to be second to none. That's known everywhere I've gone. People talk about the community support. I can't overstate that. And our Minot families, that Minot pride, that badge of honor that only we can wear. If that doesn't juice you up and get you ready to work, I don't know what does, and you need to check your pulse. This is the place to be. I'll close by saying this. Excellence just doesn't happen. It's earned daily with that dedication, sacrifice, and mission focus. Loving and caring for one another, covering each other's blind spots, and checking six. Leaving it all on the field each day and making sure that we earn it in pride and ownership. A pride that only we can foster and sustain here. General, my name's on the mailbox. I'm accountable, sir. Warbird, fight's on. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Walters, and congratulations on behalf of the men and women of the 5th Bomb Wing, and welcome to Minot Air Force Base. At this time, we ask that you please focus your attention on the magnificent aircraft. The aircraft behind you is the B-52H Stratofortress, serial number 60-005, the 5th Bomb Wing flagship. As with aircraft nose art, it is a time-honored tradition for the crew chief to paint the name of the commander near the cockpit. We will honor this tradition today and will now unveil Colonel Walters' name on the aircraft.
Sir, I am Staff Sergeant Charles Goodman, dedicated crew chief. I present to you for your acceptance the B-52H Stratofortress, serial number 60-005.
Sergeant Goodley, is she ready to fight?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Goodley, I accept the aircraft.
We would like to present gifts to Mrs. Keva Cochrane and the Walters. However, due to current social distancing procedures, we have placed the gifts at their seats. Mrs. Keva, please accept this gift as a small token of our appreciation for your friendship and support over the last 2 years. You will be missed. Additionally, we would like to welcome Mrs. Carrie Walters and their 2 children, Kate and Addison, to the 5th Bomb Wing. We wish you well in support of our 5th Bomb Wing Warbird families. Ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with COVID-19 guidance, there will not be a receiving line today. Being mindful to maintain 6 feet social distancing, we invite everyone to congratulate Colonel Walters and his family. Please stand for the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for attending and have a wonderful Air Force Day.